Hi everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is Louisa and I am Imperium Goddess and I run the page called Imperium Goddess. Basically, I have this page on Instagram and TikTok and I make funny videos and I talk about spirituality and developing into it from someone who maybe thought about it a while ago, and you might relate to that or you might not. The main thing that I wanted to create a YouTube channel for is I wanted to delve a little bit deeper than what I can get given with a TikTok 5-minute video. I wanted to talk a little bit more deeper about things that kind of prompted me from the start to where I am now. And I wanted to kind of talk about how navigating yourself through a world of a spiritual awakening and finding that yourself is literally the only roadblock that you have. So the way that I'm going to do that is through a lot of my experiences that I've had when I started my spiritual awakening. It more started as a dabble, and that's, I've always liked crystals and I've always thought that anything mystical was cool when I was little, but everything kind of started really cementing for me more when, say, in 2017, and even before that when I started meditating, maybe a few years before that. But it was just, I would meditate because it would feel good. It was, I had really no sense of purpose with doing it. It just felt really nice at the time. And then I wanted to kind of walk you guys through on how my whole awakening happened probably basically in 2018. It really kind of prompted me there. And everything that I've gone through, basically from the dark night of the soul to literally crying on your bathroom floor, wondering what the fuck's going on. We've all been there, and it hurts and it sucks. But I wanted to dish out to you a lot of things that I felt with, and a lot of things that I've actually seen others go through as well, and learning on my journey through other people's experiences. So I really hope that you enjoy my very, very first episode. It's going to be about me a little bit, and then, a lot of it's about me, but I'm I'm going to go through how this all started for me, and then hopefully through this entire channel you can get something from it, and I really would like to hear what you all have to say as well. So basically I want to start off with kind of literally just going from the start and where it all kind of came into fruition for me. And over the years, what I thought spirituality was to what it actually is, and what I have experienced and continue to experience, because everything is always new. I'm no expert, and we're not all experts. We're all on a journey, and this is literally Earth School. If anyone has ever heard that term, Dolores Cannon talks about it. We are literally in Earth School, and we just get through lessons and lessons and lessons to the end. And then at the end, we're just like, what do we learn? We learned this. Fuck, it was cool. We either go back or we're done. So depending what you want to do at the end of your time, but you won't know that until after you've passed. So where it all started for me was probably, maybe 2015, 2016, I started meditating on and off, which was cool. And I started looking into a little bit more books, because the mystical fantasy land was very, very fascinating for me. I, from a very young age, was obsessed obviously with fairies and everything else. And I literally believe them in my head. They existed for me. Everything mystical existed in my realm as a child. And I don't know if anyone can relate, but children who have really, really wild imaginations probably grow up to be people like me, or people in the spiritual community who literally imagine them because they were real. To us, they were real. And I never forget, my mother had the book about a myths and legends, and this particular story, it was of Atlantis. And as I was 7 years old, and I zoned in to that particular story. I can't remember how many times I read it. It was maybe a 3-page spread in this beautiful book. And I was like, this is something, is me connected to this. And if any of you have ever done past life regressions, or have felt connected to some sort of time in the past, in ancient history, in other planets, take a look, because there's a high chance that you probably were a part of that too. So that always, for me, I was like, I'm different, and I always did feel a little bit different. And so as I went on and I started meditating, and then I went into 2017 and I kind of got this newfound of confidence. And I've always been a very fairly confident person, but I'm very highly self-critical, especially on my image, which we will touch on that in other episodes that I'll go through with you. But, this is the journey that I have chosen. I have chosen to go through this part with myself and to grow out of it and to learn with it. So when I got this newfound confidence, and all of a sudden, manifesting started coming up, and I was like, oh, let's see how we can do it. So I started manifesting things, little things, and I would meditate, and that would happen, and it was very easy. I was in a flow, and it worked very nicely for me. It was very comfortable, and I'm like, oh, if this is spirituality, this is lit. This is where I want to be. I'm getting things that I want. I didn't do further research. I read a few books, and which obviously I'm an avid reader. I really, really enjoy reading. And so this is always fun, always really, really, really fun. Until 2019, I went and did a fitness competition, which was someone with a body dysmorphia, like you probably shouldn't do, but each to their own. I was like, I'm going to do this. And it was very, very, very challenging for me. I found it pushed me to my limits. I was hungry. Became very, very self-critical. I won one of them, and the other one I came sixth. Super grateful. It was an experience. And it wasn't until the aftermath until I noticed that I just wasn't ever the same again. I basically never looked at myself the same, and it just became worse. And it became worse. And then all of a sudden, it's almost like a door opened, the trap door that I didn't even know was there, opened, and that flooded out all these things that I need to figure out about myself, which was basically the whole of 2020, COVID. I was stuck inside. It was kind of almost perfect for me. I just sat inside and cried a lot and wondered what the fuck was going on and why the world seemed dark. And I don't know if anyone else has gone through a spiritual awakening, feel that the world, when they're in the dark night of the soul phase, the world doesn't seem so bright. Like it's colored differently. I swear to you. So I don't know if you've had this, but to me, the world seemed really, really dark. And that's all that I could see and all I could really understand. And so for 2 years, it was battling what was going on. And about realizing that it was me was really huge, because I thought everything was external. And that was my ego. Because my God, my ego was, still she is. I put her as a she because she is me and I am her, and we have to work together now, and we have to love each other. And I do love her. She protects me, but she just got in the way. She was relentless, and a force to be reckoned with. So really, really big stuff. And a lot of you probably can relate as well in many ways. So realizing that my ego was pulling me back from beliefs and egotistical thoughts and comments and the ways that I look at people and the ways that I believe that I should have been treated, or things that should have happened to me. Why didn't they happen to me? I'm a good person. And that is all ego, basically. It tells you that, but it does things to protect you as well, which is what mine has done a lot of the time, which was what we're still going through, but we're coming to a lot more happy mediums. Now I'm doing things with her, which is in other episodes, but it's, to me at this point, with coming into an awakening phase, you come into a lot of roadblocks and hurdles, like I spoke before, about self-development and getting yourself out of it and learning. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm extremely impatient, which is something I've got to learn, which is a task I know I've given to myself to learn. So I sometimes sit and think, God, Louisa, you just really done a good job. You just made it so hard for you to grow. And then my higher self's like, yeah, have fun. And yeah, that's pretty much the conversation we have. But I'm not crazy. I just talk to myself all the time. But that's just what I've been doing for a while. And probably other people have done the same. Anyway, so back on track. Basically, learning that it is you that is the blockage of your life is a very, very hard pill to swallow. And it's literally swallowing it with no water. You were just struggling with it and choking on it and just throwing it back up again and trying to go back down until you realize how to navigate it properly with yourself. And a lot of the time, the entire journey of the ego and you is going to take some time, which is what it did with me. And coming to terms with my own self-doubts, which I didn't think I had, but I did, and things that I couldn't start for a long time because I figured that I needed to read more books, and I figured that I needed to learn more things and watch more videos on to develop myself further so that I knew what I was doing. And so I wanted to make this channel for maybe a year and a half-ish, year, and it's taken me until the end of March 2022 to make my first episode. So it does take time, and I've had to learn patience. But what I can say to you all is that when you come to the end and you start your new chapter of your journey, you understand that everything that you've done is actually worth it. Because a lot of the times when you're going in a circle, and you can all probably picture like a little mouse wheel, when you're rolling in the mouse wheel, it doesn't look like you've gone anywhere. But in that mouse wheel, you've actually been working. So it's like, you're getting fitter, the mouse is working hard. But when you stop for a second and you actually look back, and you really, really look back to the person that you were 6 months ago, 1 year ago, 3 years ago, you're like, and I don't know about you, but for me, I was like, wow, like that was me. And a lot of the time I look at photos of myself 7 years ago and I'm like, that girl, wow, like who is that now? How did I think back then? What was that like? And I almost literally forget who I was back then. And I know that like there was elements of me that I was a bitch. I was a brat. I had this like stigma, but I always loved others and loved everybody so much, and I just wanted everyone to be happy, which is literally the reason why I'm making this, because this is all I want, is for people to find their happiness the way that I'm finding mine. Because I went from being on top of the world to knocked off my pedestal, and then I'm working my way back up again to not to sit on a pedestal, but to sit with everyone else on the same one, but all on the same happiness and all on the same level, high-fiving each other, saying, fuck yeah, we made it and we've done the work. And that's what I want out of this channel. So basically what I'm trying to do here is to express to you a lot of the challenges that I've felt. So when the ego fights you and protects you, which is what my spiritual therapist and I've spoken about many, many times, it just tries to protect you. And so there's going to be many, many times that it's just going to direct you in another, it goes, I don't know if you're ready for that yet. Let's just do something different. Let's try another avenue. And you're like, okay, like I know best. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to just, read another Joe Dispenza book, or, read something else and look at other more videos, because I need to know more. But it's not until you actually step out of your comfort zone is when the magic happens. Also in this channel, I'm going to talk about a lot of reality that surrounds like spirituality. And I love this community. I think it's a beautiful community. I'm not going to lie to you. There's some toxicity in it, and there's going to be, and there's people will always, and that's their ego coming in. Okay. So we can't judge them, and we can't look at them in a certain way. That's their own journey. But just remember, what works for you, and it always will. And what works for me has worked for me. And no one is the same. But what I want from all of you is to find what helps you, and hopefully I can inspire in a way that I've been able to kind of navigate through my own journey. And you pick up things, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So just remember 2 things that I'm going to bring to the table, is that the ego will try and fight and stop you, which is literally the basis of my entire channel. What we're going to talk about is how mine and my ego, we've been just battling for years. And the second thing is that you are completely on your own journey, but as well as that, we're actually all together as one. We're all working through this together. And the more people that we can approach, or people that can kind of bring to the light a little bit more, I know I sound really, really woo-woo, and there's going to be times where I'm just going to sound really esoteric, and I love it. And, Aaron Doughty is one of my favorite YouTubers, and he's esoteric as fuck. Love him. Aaron, he's one honestly been watching him for so long. He's been one of the people that like I've been so inspired by this whole time. But remember, the more people that come together and the more people that awaken and see that there is light in this world amongst how much darkness and shit that there has been, you realize that we actually can find a way and we can navigate our way into the best possible life that we can give. And right now, that's the light that I've opened up to noticing. Like I said before, like I'm not the big gurus, like Deepak and all of those amazing people, like, but in their own sense, they have been on their own journey. So they started helping when they felt they wanted to and they felt it was right for them. So if you want to do this at all, it doesn't matter where you are. I'm no expert and I haven't I've found light, but I have not like sitting in my temple and doing lots of shamanic sort of ceremonies. I haven't done ayahuasca yet, and I will soon, and I'm probably going to document it and talk about how great it is or how not great it is, either way. But what I need from you guys to understand is that, like, once we all realize that when we're all sitting on a level of great peace and happiness, this entire world will shift so much more into such a better consciousness. And with my channel, I'm hoping to bring that to the table with all of you. I've obviously got YouTube and I've got a podcast as well. So you can find me both of those. And obviously on TikTok and Instagram. So I really hope that you enjoy what's coming up.